everybody, welcome back to Caroline's Closet. I'm Caroline. If you have been watching my channel, you know that I am experimenting periodically with new sites. Rubylane is the newest of those. I started on Rubylane 2.5 months ago, so this is just kind of a 2-month update, 2.5 month update. And I was getting really excited to do the video because about 3 weeks ago, I finally got to the point where I was profitable on the site. And I was like, yay, I have good news to share on my update. And then that was the last sale I've seen on Rubylane. But it dropped off significantly at exactly the same time that eBay dropped off significantly, and Poshmark and Mercari and Amazon and everything else, because it was right around then where most of the nation was reopening. People had been spending their money online for the last 3 months, and they were excited to get out and physically go to stores, and online sales just dropped off. Now I'm hoping it'll start to pick up. I'm still gonna give it a chance, but I am back under, no longer profitable. And I will say this is the only site I have ever tried out or sold anything on that did not at least give me some kind of instant profit, because any other site I didn't have to pay to start out. So eBay, when you first start, you get 50 free listings. Likely by the time you use those 50 free listings, you've at least sold something to start covering your 50 cents or whatever per listing after that, until you decide to invest in a store. And by then you've got enough items built up that you should be able to cover your store expenses and everything else. Poshmark, you don't pay to list anything. I could put 10,000 junk items on there that will never sell, and I don't pay a dime. So won't ever lose money selling on Poshmark, unless you're selling stuff for less than what you paid for it. Different side. Mercari, don't pay anything to list, don't pay anything to get set up. All free until something sells, 10% off there. Amazon, you don't have to pay to list anything on Amazon. They do have a $39.99 monthly option, which I used during the busy season. If you don't use that option, then you pay an extra 99 cents on top of the fees after something sells. I tried out Bonanza recently. I stayed on there for 3 full months, had 4 total sales, but I didn't pay anything. So, you know, for those 4 sales, everything aside from their like 6% fees was all profit to me. I pulled my stuff off Bonanza because there were 4 sales in a course of 3 months. Wasn't worth my time. But Rubylane is different. You have to pay a $54 minimum monthly shop fee. It covers your first 50 listings. And then on top of that, you pay a 30 cents per listing for the next 100 listings, and then 20 cents per listing for the next, until you hit 1,000 listings, and then it's just a penny a listing. That's not a listing fee though. Anything you see about Rubylane, anything that they put out says, no listing fees free, great advertising tactic. It's a maintenance fee. The only good thing I can see about doing it this way, other than the fact that they're just using it as a way to, I mean, obviously a way to deceive people, because, you know, you see no listing fees and you get excited. But the only good thing about it is, if I list something on Rubylane and eBay or Mercari or wherever, and it sells on eBay or Mercari or whatever before the 1st of the month, I can delete it off of Rubylane and I don't pay anything for it. So their maintenance fee is charged on the 1st of every month based on how many listings you have in your store or your back room, so you can't like save a bunch of drafts to put live on the 1st. If you have the listing anywhere on the site, you get charged for it. But that includes sold items too, because a lot of people leave their sold items listed as sold for 30 days before it gets removed from the site. And so you're still getting charged the maintenance fee on sold items that sold on Rubylane, where you wouldn't necessarily be charged anything on those on sites that charge a listing fees. That part really, 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 really bothers me about Rubylane. Anyway, so I've been on for 2.5 months. I have sold 9 items now. I had just gotten to the point at the end of June where I was profitable. I had officially made $7 profit for those 9 items that sold in total after covering my shop fees and the seller fees, whatever, after the fact that it sold, and everything else, plus what I paid for those 9 items, $7 profit. And then I haven't had a sale in 3 weeks now, almost 3 weeks. So I'm now back to being behind because I paid my June bill on July, and so now I know that come August 1st, I'm gonna owe like $89 just for my maintenance fees for the shop and the items I have listed. So between now, July 8th, and the end of July, I have to make at least $90-some in sales to cover what's going to be due, and then however much on top of that, depending on which items sell, to cover my cost of goods, and then hopefully find some profit after the fact. So I kind of was tempted to say, okay, let me just call it quits and start up again maybe next year, maybe start up in October so that I can get a good flow of sales right away. But I'm gonna give it a chance. I don't know why. I'm gonna stick with it through October because I have a feeling that there might be another COVID stimulus check, and that'll cause a spike in sales if there is. I have a feeling that come September-ish, more people will be back in work. It's not gonna be safe. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's not gonna be safe. But more people are going to be back in work, earning money, shopping more online again, and starting to buy Christmas, holiday, stuff like that come September. So I'm gonna give it through October before I call it quits. My only dilemma is that I was posting a lot of items just on Rubylane because I wanted to give it a full chance, and it's not fair if I put items on 3 sites and they sell right away on eBay and I'd remove it from Rubylane. I can't necessarily say that it wouldn't have sold on that site. So I want to give them as much of a chance as possible to prove to me that it's a site worthy of my time. But if I give it up in 3 months, I don't want to have 500 listings on there that were only on Rubylane that I'm now gonna have to go back and redo 500 listings on the other sites. Understand my dilemma? So I think I'm going to be doing more cross-posting of everything that I put on Rubylane for the most part. Maybe some cheapies I'll throw up there without putting anywhere else and see what happens. But that's my plan. I'm gonna give it through September, and I will definitely do another update, whether I do it at the end of summer or at the end of October, I guess. But I will give you another update with whether I am going to stick it out or call it quits and see what happens. They do have featured listing options, things of that nature, where you can pay $10 to have your listings featured in one of their lanes for 10 days. I did that in early June, maybe late May, shortly after I had started on there. And I checked the featured pages each day, and there was a different one of my listings on the featured pages, but I didn't sell anything during that 10 days. I had sold one like 2 days before, and then I sold an item like 2 days after, nothing during the featured. So I'm going to wait until maybe I've built up my store a bit and built up my customer base a bit before I pay for additional advertising. They also really, 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 really push for you to be Rubylane exclusive, yay! And so the Rubylane exclusive sites That means that their items are not anywhere else online ever. You can buy it there and only there from that person, and they get free featured statuses and free extra pushes and advertising. And I wouldn't mind, except the main criteria is that those items have to be listed only on Rubylane, nowhere else. Fine, I could deal with that. But the catch that I couldn't deal with is that you also could not have similar items within the price points allowed on Rubylane that could be sold in one of the categories on the Rubylane on any other site. So if I were to go Rubylane exclusive, that means that any vintage piece of jewelry that I sell, and I get a lot of vintage jewelry that I can sell for $10 or up, I'd have to put on Rubylane. I could not put anywhere else. Now, since $10 is their minimum price point, that's the minimum you can list jewelry at on Rubylane. If it was something I was going to sell for $6, $7, $8, I could put it on eBay. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to completely limit myself to one platform for certain things, you know, and maybe I'll have like two similar necklaces or something, and I'll put one on eBay and one on Rubylane, and yes, that one is exclusive to Rubylane, but yes, I'm also selling similar products on other sites. So I don't qualify as a Rubylane exclusive shop, and that kind of sucks because I think it's kind of unfair to say that if you're selling anything that could possibly be listed on this site, you have to list it on this site. So I don't know. I have my grievances. Anyway, that's my 2.5 month update on Rubylane. I was gonna go through the site again, but I did kind of show off the site a little bit in my first update video posted 2 months ago. And I will make sure to show more of the site when I do my final update. It is dripping with sweat in here. I have my fan going, so I'm not even sure you could hear me talk. I did get a new window unit air conditioner given to me from a neighbor. It hasn't been installed yet. My husband said he'll put it in next time he comes to mow the yard here. He's my eBay house maintenance man. But the neighbor had said that they just braced it in their window with the windowsill and the little plastic piece, and they didn't like secure it in any way, so I'm really tempted just to stick it in there and try to make it close tight so it doesn't move and get some airflow going in here. We'll see. My husband's a stickler for doing things the right way though, so I don't know. He'd get a little upset with me if I cheated. Anyway, that's all. Thank you so much for watching my Rubylane update. My thoughts right now, if you're not on Rubylane, is don't start yet. Wait until this craziness of COVID is over and spending habits kind of get back to a more normal measure. I'm hoping that that's all that the issue is at this point. But if you have the money, can spend the money, maybe this is a good time to start building a store so that when spending habits do get back to normal, you've got a supply of inventory. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how it goes. I'm not ready to give it up yet because I know there are so many people on there that are paying astronomical fees every month. Like there's people on there with 2,000 listings. They're paying almost $300 a month just to maintain those 2,000 listings. So they have to be getting sales. So it's gonna come. Okay, I'm rambling. I always do. Thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe. Come back for more. Friday, this Friday, July, I don't know what today is, July 10th, I am doing my first ever YouTube jewelry sale. Everything that I list or that I put up on the YouTube show on Friday will be $8 flat fee, including shipping, all included fee, $8 a piece, 2 for $15 and 3 for $20 will be the prices. So excellent deals. And then the following Friday I will do a similar sale with some higher quality merchandise that everything will be a flat $12 free shipping. So it's exciting, never done it before. Please check that show out. Thanks again for watching. I really am done now. Bye guys.